Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Estate Exposed, Signature Real Estate Group's podcast for the week.
The week of 9/10, right before 9/11.
Right before 9/11. Yes. I'm Vandana Bala. I'm one of the corporate brokers at Signature Real Estate Group. And to my right is Mrs. Shelley Panzarella, who's branch manager of Prosperity Lending and my co-host every week right here.
It has been. Where's
He's been gone.
our triple threat co-host?
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about this as I was getting ready to come over here. And I'm like, every time one of us isn't here, he brings in like a secondary host.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
We didn't do that though, huh?
We don't do that. Like
Why?
It's been 3 weeks. We haven't done that.
Is it because we don't
we
know
rock.
anybody? Or
No,
like,
'cause we
because
rock.
we, okay, because we rock.
Because we're that awesome. Not to say that he's not.
Nice.
We're so
making him
excited to
feel
have
better.
you back when you come back.
Tomorrow.
I always have a pole in the middle of my face. Look.
I know, same. I'm trying to the right or to the left?
To the
To
right?
the left, to the left.
You want me to go like
Everything
this? You
you-
want me to be like this the whole time?
How about me?
You can't see my earrings that way. I only wore them for the podcast today.
Let me get this big old jug out of the way. And I mean my water
Yeah,
jug.
trust me, we know. So let's talk about stats because
do
that's
it.
what we do every single week. So this week's stats include, oh boy,
Well, let me get that info up.
as
right
far as
now.
brand new listings, 984, which is down a little bit. You've got do you want to guess what the highest price listing is? No, did we do that?
Not
What did
listing,
we decide?
sales price. You
I
said.
know, but we did something new. Like
We
started
did it only
something
because it was
new.
a $32 million listing that we
Got it,
were
got it.
all
Okay, so
going
we're not-
crazy
we're not
off
doing
of.
that. All right. And then we have sold properties in
3.2.
Las Vegas. Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said highest sales price.
No, not yet. I haven't even gotten there.
Sorry.
762 properties have sold in the last 7 days.
How many?
762,
Lower.
which is
Okay.
a lot lower than normal
Yeah.
because we've been in the 900 to 1,000 range. So I'm wondering what that means. Are people like slowing down from
Buyer
buying?
fatigue.
Is it buyer fatigue, you think, still?
I think so. How many homes are coming on the market, did you say? 1,000?
970-ish or whatever it was. So maybe it could be. It could also be that the holidays are coming and people don't want to spend the extra money. Could be that
Already?
this is just the gradual, normal market turn as of September. Because, I mean, historically, September, October, it gets quieter, right?
Does it?
I
I agree.
crushing September, but
Did you crush this September?
I
Or
crushed
are you
this
crushing?
September.
This is
Yeah.
September.
I know I'm crushing it
Okay.
for my sake anyway. I mean, there's people who crush it differently. My crushing is different than other people's crushing it, but I'm crushing it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty even on our side. I have seen that pre-quals and contracts we've seen more come in the last couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
maybe everybody else is. I feel like in August, it was kind of slow.
Yeah.
Like just from an overall, pre-qual, from refis, everything.
Maybe.
Maybe everybody was getting back. Maybe now everybody's back to school. They've got their structure. They're in their routines and back to work. Do you guys take a break ever? You realtors, you?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Beta?
We take breaks. I'm not taking one for a while.
No?
So funny enough,
Wait, we didn't do highest sales price.
I know. Funny
Oh.
enough, I was going to tell you the lowest price sold property was $260.
60. That's a data
That's a
integrity issue.
data integrity issue. So guess what?
Data or data?
Tomato?
No, rural.
Tomato?
Rural.
It is a data integrity issue. Incorrect sold price. I'm going to go ahead and put that because there's no way in heck.
So is it
filed a
26,800?
filed a violation. Okay, and then
Okay, Brandon, stop doing commissions.
so it was 200, but I felt like I was here, right? So I might as well do it.
Okay.
So 260. Let me go back because that's not right.
How do you know what the number is?
There's no. It was listed for 260,000. There's no way it sold for $260 unless that's
Good deduction there.
Really crappy advice from
Yeah,
the realtor.
good.
In which case, you're fired. Just kidding. 40. I don't think I can do that publicly. Isn't that trademarked?
Is that
Fired.
with his
Yeah, I
hand?
thought it
It's
was.
the wisp of the hair too that goes with it.
Who are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
The Apprentice?
Yeah. So The lowest price home, $45,000. It was actually a home.
No
sold,
way.
Yeah.
In
Vegas near Pahrump.
Vegas near Pahrump? So was that on the hump over
It's
Pahrump?
in Tonopah.
That's not by Pahrump.
Where is that?
That's north.
So it's not the Pahrump?
No, it's
But it
on the
says-
way to
It
UNR.
says from Vegas and Pahrump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, I guess. So we're getting a lot of data from other places or data or tomatoes.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to call them tomatoes from now on. Highest price, pretty damn close.
3.2?
Missy, 4.2.
Oh.
I mean, not pretty damn close. You're like $1 million off, but
That's still close.
it was McDonald Ranch.
We've been having some high sales out there.
Oh, McDonald Ranch.
And
are
a lot of sales just in
People
general.
apparently are starting to like Henderson.
Well, just so you know, Henderson is the number 4th ranked city
What you talking about?
for in-migration.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, over, Summerlin and other places in
Any other
Las
places.
Vegas.
I'm sorry. I love how you did that.
Yes.
And that's coming from an article you just recently sent.
I did, yes.
Yes.
And actually, I think it was CoreLogic, number 4 for top 15 metros with highest in-migration is Henderson. It actually says Las Vegas, but we're going to just say Henderson.
Does it say Las Vegas?
It says Las Vegas, Henderson, Paradise.
Well, there you go. So it says it's all of them. That includes, by the way,
All of us.
Look at me when I do this.
It includes Summerlin.
So
Not that there's anything wrong with Summerlin. I love Summerlin, but I've lived
have
in
to. I
Henderson
live
forever.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I work there too. Exactly.
oh, good times. So tomorrow, we sort of mentioned this in the beginning.
Yes.
Tomorrow is 9/11.
Can you believe 20 years?
20 years.
Like, what were you doing 20 years ago when this happened? Kindergarten?
You were kindergarten? No, you
Beta?
weren't. You stop it.
Did you
You're
even know that
kidding.
this was happening? Like, holy smokes, I feel like my
Is that
white
what-
hair's
oh my
like jumping
God.
off my head right now. So
You're
you didn't know
really a
anything about
baby.
it, right? Really, it just kind of, when you started to get on the airplanes and stuff like that, that was like first time for you to have to take your shoes off and everything. Like that was normal. Yeah. That's crazy though, to think about it.
You know, it was, what?
To think about it, just
Oh,
on how
yeah.
life has changed since then.
I remember I was actually sleeping when it all happened. I was in law school at the time, and I like got woken up by my phone ringing like crazy, and I was like, "What was going on?" And I picked up my phone, and it was obviously my mom, and she said, "You know, your dad's in New York right now." And I was like, "What do you mean he's in New York?"
wow.
Now he was there for a show or something, and so he was actually in New York.
Manhattan, like right where it's at?
Yeah, in Lower Manhattan. I mean, luckily he wasn't around that area, directly, but it's still pretty traumatic, And
Yeah.
then also he's Indian, so that didn't help a lot, believe it or not. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they knew at the time. It took a little while, right, for them to figure out.
I mean, they knew within. Have you watched any of the things on 9/11?
Truthfully, we've been to that museum. It is amazing down
Yeah.
there. Museum, Memorial.
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 I think. Yeah.
It has some great artifacts. It has all of the stories from the newscast that play. That's what I remember. Cause they
Yeah.
didn't have Facebook, right? They didn't have, I don't remember
We
Facebook.
didn't have Facebook
I think it was MySpace. Do you know what MySpace is?
He won't know. He was 4 years old. Why would he know what MySpace is?
But it wasn't that type of social medium either. But just watching all of that. We brought Sydney over there to watch it because my husband's from New York, so it was kind of crazy. He has a lot of police officers, firefighters, nurses that were out there, kind of in the midst of it. So kind of crazy. But what they've done to rebuild it and what it looks like today. Just have you been on the tower? Mm-mm. No, that's a cool thing to see too. You'll see everything that kind of happened when it was ground zero to what it was rebuilt to.
Oh wow.
Yep. Should we take a moment of silence?
Sure.
Okay. Back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Back to stats.
So, I'm done talking about stats.
Oh.
But anyways, so there is a couple of shows right now that just popped up on Netflix that are about that day and the things that happened. There was one of
documentary.
them. Yeah, there's one of them that specifically talks about like some of the things that happened in the White House. during the time, and then there's another documentary from the eyes of a attorney. So I haven't gotten a chance to watch those. I remember when I watched one of the shows about 9/11, it devastated. Like, it's so crazy to think that people could do that. You know what I mean? That human beings could do that to each other. It's so upsetting.
It's kind of surreal too when you walk down there. Like, we were there just a few months after because we went there for just to visit family, and when we walked down there to see the whole site, the whole Ground Zero, and it's just that impact to see it, right?
Yeah.
But to watch it and all that stuff, but to actually physically be out there just to see the devastation that, was already cleaned up and everything. It's just crazy, eerie,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
sad, but crazy that it's been 20 years.
Yes. Crazy that it's been 20 years. And Beto was 4.
Yeah.
Happened.
And what do we get out of that? We have to now go through TSA, and we have to take our shoes off going through the airports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny, you sent me the same article that I sent you.
I saw that.
The most expensive
Great minds.
home in America.
Is that crazy?
$165 million in debt is headed for sale. Guess where it is?
In LA.
Los Angeles. Yes. It's a mega mansion that was once
What does that
expected to
mean?
list for $500 million, has gone into receivership after the owner defaulted on more than $165 million in loans and debt, according to court filings. The 105,000 square foot home
Wow.
in Bel Air, it's a Bel Air estate, is known as The One. Funny enough, there's a show out there, and I can't remember what it's called, Selling Sunset, I want to say.
Yeah.
But they are the ones that originally had the listing on this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they sold it
One
to
of
one
the-
of their clients.
Wow.
The guy who,
Oh, wow. Naimi? Naimi, it looks
Yeah.
like.
So, anyways, so that's from what I understand. It was one of the guys, the owners that they feature in that show, but ended up selling it $500 million. Can you imagine the commissions on that? Like, so crazy. Not that I'm thinking in that. I am thinking in that. But it was, let's see, it hit the market in 2017 for $500 million.
That's insane.
Yeah. And what it's saying is that there's a lot of money. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that they can buy stuff like this. Have you seen the pictures of the house?
I did. I saw the tour and when they actually were listed it originally, what it looked like. It's insane.
I know.
I know what a mega mansion is, but I didn't know there was such a term.
Mega mansion. It
Mega.
means it's way too big.
Gigantic.
It's way too big. I mean, how many people do you think would live in that?
I think it was just him and his.
Now that's crazy.
Not just him, his family.
That is
it was
so
set up to be.
nutso.
It's like the $32 million house here too. Like, that is a complete entertainment center. It's raining.
It's rumbling.
Yeah.
There's thunder.
It's raining men outside.
Well, I wish. But it is thundering
Sorry,
outside.
Beta.
It's so crazy.
I know.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool that that's coming back on the market. I'm going to
What's
see
in
if I can
default?
go
So
find
that would be
buyer.
a default. So what do we think? Are we thinking things are going to start to go crazy and we're going to see a huge
I mean,
foreclosure crisis now?
that's a big home, right? So
Yeah.
I wonder who would buy it. Like, who can afford that? Probably a movie star or somebody with
think?
the guy who owns Amazon. Is there a
Bezos?
guy that owns Amazon?
Yeah. His name is Jeff Bezos.
Bezos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, he owes his wife a lot more probably now.
Does
They
he?
got divorced. Ex-wife, right? Didn't they just
He's
get divorced?
single?
Oh, Lord. It's raining men outside. All you're worried about is one guy
Sorry.
who just got
I was
divorced.
checking. Well, they're hard to find.
True.
Yeah, but I heard he's been going to the moon. Like, he went and took a trip to the moon or something. Did you hear that?
No. He
He's
did?
trying to find women in the
Got
moon.
he had
There's
aliens
there's
and
women in
space
the-
Martians
no.
up there?
Spell his name. Bezos.
Bezos. Are you kidding me right now?
Bezos. Moon.
Who are you?
I don't know. I just buy from there. I don't necessarily like.
I mean,
Jeff
yeah, you
Bezos
should have
moon.
stock and stuff.
Offer to cover $2 billion of NASA costs in order to be reconsidered for a key contract to build a moon landing vehicle. The award is for building the landing system. Blah blah blah. I really want to know about his. Oh, is that what it is?
Alimony. It's legit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Freaking
Like
rough,
half
man.
of Amazon.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know.
Good for her.
I wasn't part of that petition.
I mean, I would hire the best attorney on the planet for that.
Long-term investments. Yes.
Talk
Yes,
about that,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, all right. So a couple of things. Let's talk about HUD really quickly. So HUD is actually allocating almost $47 million to fight housing discrimination. And it is, so HUD stands for the Department of Housing and Urban Development and and they're distributing $47.4 million to housing organizations to help promote fair housing nationwide. New funding the National Association of Realtors has been advocating for to combat housing discrimination. And I will tell you that there has been, we talked about this before with fair housing. Can you hear me, by the way? Because I'm not wearing my headphones. When you had your guest last week or 2 weeks ago, I could barely hear him. I just want to make sure I'm loud
He didn't
enough.
realize he didn't
I loud enough?
I don't like hearing myself either.
Am I loud enough?
I can't hear you. What?
Am I loud enough?
Yes, you're
Okay.
fine.
So
Might be loud.
we talked about this before with love letters, right? So this will fall under the love letter category. It'll fall under all sorts of things. So if you're still writing love letters, come back to
Dear
2021
John.
and stop doing it. What's love letters? What?
I don't know. Dear John. What is a love letter?
You don't know what a love letter is?
I mean,
It's where buyers say, "Hey, seller, I love your home."
oh.
Right? I love your
I'm
home.
a single-
I am recently married. I have, we've got a baby on the way, and we'd love to, the park is close by. We'd love to be able to walk to the synagogue. We'd love da da da.
Whoa,
all of those things. What?
Okay.
No, but it includes everything, right?
Yeah.
Because when you look at fair housing, it includes all those
Religion.
things. Well, religion, sex, handicap, familial
yeah.
status, disability, right? All of it.
Any and all.
Yeah. So it's even for Nevada. So Nevada has its own fair housing, and then you've got HUD that has fair housing. The new grants would enable about 120 fair housing groups to combat housing practices that violate the Fair Housing Act. So what that tells me is that they have provided some funding, and that funding is now going to help stop discrimination, or at least find violations of discrimination. What I still haven't been able to see is what happens when they find it, what's going to happen to the person who is allowing the discrimination to occur, and what's the things that will happen to them or whatnot. So
Talks about redlining. I just took a CE course on this. Isn't that where they're ultimately, that's the discriminating aspect of it also
where
from
you
a
say
realtor's
you
standpoint?
should be in this neighborhood, or you should,
Yeah, you're like, oh, you would prefer this place because...
Yep. It's so funny because I've had clients before that I've never met that ask me like, hey, where do you think I should live? And I'm like, you should live where you want to live. What are you looking for? Right. And so we ask, you have to be very careful. Well, this is a great neighborhood and you should consider this and blah, blah, blah. And I always have clients that ask like, what about, criminals and like criminal activity? And I'm like, well, here's the website for Metropolitan Police Department. You're welcome to check it and see, what different criminal activities are happening. I go, but I will tell you that just as I don't practice discrimination, neither do criminals. So it doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, you'll likely be you'll likely have some form of issue in your home.
Some part
Somebody
of that
might break
could even
into
be us just talking about Summerlin and Henderson, right? Like how we
No.
were just talking about.
like you were doing this?
Exactly. You did it,
Yeah.
not me.
No, you did it. No, that was you,
Right.
not me.
So I did not mean it in that context at all.
Yeah. No, you're just saying that we're snobby over there.
Yes.
We are.
The air's
It has
5
nothing
degrees
to do,
cooler.
It has nothing to do with discrimination. We're snobby.
Check out our-
Snobby is not
not
a
part of the
fair
class.
housing violation. Yeah. Just like you
Good to
can
know.
discriminate against attorneys. Just
to
like
know.
you can discriminate against realtors. We are not a protected class.
Ah, good to know. Okay, good.
Snobby
Then I
people,
don't feel so bad.
not a protected class. Not yet, anyway. I mean, eventually you're not going to be able to do anything.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, the loan applications have actually become more in depth around the race, gender, and then even actually requiring us to, or not allowing us to, or allowing them not to select what they want.
Start again, because I'm confused on if you are allowing it or you're not allowing it.
They can actually elect not to disclose their race
Which is
and,
normal, because
and
that's supposed to be the way.
nationality, right? We have to make a judgment call if we're seeing them face to face.
Okay.
to make a guess. So like I've had people come to me and they're like, oh, Panzarella, totally didn't get that you were not Italian.
Yeah.
Right. But like over the phone or on whatever, they were just to take it off the phone. You can actually you couldn't make a determination over the phone, but face to face, you have to.
I mean, could you tell I was Indian when I talk?
I mean, no, except for when you say rural and data. But truthfully, with the loan applications now, they've expanded the ethnicity
Like
and the race
Decatur?
side of it. Like it's no longer Asian; it's like
You got
Filipino.
that. That just clicked. That just
like
clicked.
what? Filipino. I can't hear you.
Decatur.
What's Decatur?
Decatur.
Who says that?
Indian people.
Really?
I remember when my
Robitussin
parents, when we moved to
Decatur.
LA, and they said Sepulveda. I was like, it's Sepulveda. But I'll take it. Yeah. I still occasionally
Say it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yes.
Sorry, but continue. What were you saying? I got really sidetracked.
We got somebody twerking in the office.
Oh, love it.
Our what do you call those
Sasquatch.
live audiences?
Oh,
Yes, thank you, Sasquatch, for jumping in. Girl power again. That's right. Oh, see, we came on early.
yeah. Okay, so tell me what you were doing.
So loan applications today. So that just recently changed for us, right? We not only did they add the military aspect, so we do have to ask our clients if they have ever served in the military because that was being overlooked. And a lot of veterans or active military were not being made aware that they could do a VA loan. But
What?
they've expanded the demographics, and so it's not just. It used to just be like, are you Hispanic, not Hispanic? Yes, no. Are you white, African American, Asian? I think Pacific Islander was in there. That was it. It is now like, Filipino, Vietnamese, Indian. It's so
Really?
yeah. They expanded all of that, and that just recently happened a few months ago for the new application.
Because I filled out the application a year ago and that was not there.
Yeah, no. It just changed.
Nice.
So I think some of that is because of this, and we have to report it every month on our. We have to report what we're
Your
how-
diversity loans.
Yeah. Well, we just have to report who our buyers are
Why?
for these purposes, so that we can make sure that
Why are you
we're
yelling
not
at me?
discriminating. Why get be so angry? I'm on your side.
I'm on your side, Shelly. Don't be so angry at me. Okay, I have to know, what is that about?
What about?
I'm on your side.
I'm just letting you know I'm on your side.
Okay. Well, you two are laughing about it, so I'm wondering if there's a thing.
No thing. Just your thing.
Just my thing.
Yes.
I'm a thing. Thanks.
You got
I
it.
feel like that's discrimination.
Oh Lord.
So, all right. So let's talk about. I feel like our diversity in the office right now is a little stressed because we're all Asian. We're missing our token white man.
Stressed? Oh, I'm like, really? That's hilarious. Where is our token? He just popped in. We got another
Yeah.
subsection of the token.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, we could get in trouble.
We're probably going down the slippery
Okay,
slope right
so
now.
let's go back. Maybe you can remove that.
Yeah.
So
All this stuff's
made
gonna
us
get
No,
edited.
just stop saying it.
Right. Moving right along.
Let's talk about. So was it you? Yeah. So you, Teresa, and I went to lunch last week, and we talked about. Do you not remember this?
I do. What are you asking if it was me? We wore the same outfit. Oh, Teresa and
You
I
and
did.
Teresa did.
Yeah.
I didn't get that memo.
Right.
But anyways,
Sorry.
but I wore it the next
But
day.
I'm still on your side, even though you
I
didn't
know.
get the memo.
So what happened? I'm
It's
gonna
my own
cut
joke.
you
That's why
both.
it's so funny. That's why it's funny.
I love that you think it's funny. It's not funny.
Why? Because it's not funny to you?
So
Okay, back to your joke.
it's not
Or-
my joke.
sorry.
I'm actually talking about real estate. Stop it already. Let me have this conversation.
Okay.
Or I could talk to myself. Forget it. I don't even care. So last week I went to lunch. I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not even looking at you.
I can
Last
see
week
you.
I went to lunch with
Slow-
Teresa and Shelly.
Yes.
And we talked about we had a when I think you and Brandon were both gone at the time, and I had a flipper in the on the show.
We're not allowed to call his name
And
out.
I was like, how in the world is he doing any business right now with, the market being so slim as it is, right? And funny enough, just recently in the RJ, it's like they heard us. They have a article says, don't put it up because it's got other people's logo on it. House flippers buying more homes in Las
it
Vegas
doesn't.
across U.S. Southern Nevada has seen iBuyers grab a bigger chunk of the market in recent months amid a broader surge of investors snapping up homes, a new report shows. U.S. real estate firms that ventured here and elsewhere in recent years to flip houses purchased 532 homes in Las Vegas area in the second quarter, up from 296 in the first quarter, according to the listing site on starts with a Z, ends in an illo. Itself, one of the buyers. The 4 companies tracked for the report accounted for 4% of purchases in Southern Nevada last quarter, up from 2.5% in the prior period. Nationally, the firms, I'm reading something that's not there. But nationally, the firms picked up 15,028 homes in the second quarter, comprising 1% of all purchases.
Wow.
Crazy talk, right?
But you're talking about
That's
your
national,
iBuyers. They're not necessarily your flippers, though, right?
No, they're not. So then let's go back now, and they're talking about flippers struggling to find enough fixer-upper homes. Armed with Wall Street money, investors are eager to fix and flip, but they can't find available properties that need some tender love and care. Investors like me were like ants on a sugar hill, all fighting for the same projects. I was a guy from New York's Long Island. It's the greatest time to be in this market. It's just hard to find the inventory. Home buyers have flooded the market. Foreclosure moratoriums have removed some potential inventory too. As a result, investors are competing for affordable properties to buy. Investors are eager to flip, with home prices climbing significantly and creating the potential for high profits on projects. And that's what we were talking about last week, is how are they making any money, right? If there's such low inventory and prices keep skyrocketing, even the ones like when you look at, and I talked to Casey and I asked him, I said, what's your formula? And he pretty much gave it to me. Like, I can't seem to find anything that fits in that formula because it's impossible. And he gave it to all of us, by the way. He was
Check
here
out
and
our
he was
show.
like, this is how you, like, here's the formula for when you look at a property and you think this is what the current value is and it needs this much work. This is how we, decide on what to offer for it. And so when I do that, like, there's nothing that I can find unless I find a seller like that doesn't know what's happening in the marketplace because they've been under a rock for the last 2 years. So that's my goal.
Would that be due diligence, though, like fiduciary for you
responsibility?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, right? You have to, so anytime I would call an investor or a seller, it would be under a different
name.
Love your explanations for what? What do you love our explanations for? What do we do? But I love that you love it, Alex, and we love you too.
Happy belated birthday.
I lost my train of thought. Dang it, Alex. What was I going to say?
You were talking about the flippers.
Flippers, yeah. Oh, do I have to disclose? Is there
Yeah.
fiduciary responsibility for me to disclose? And the answer is probably, because I'm licensed. And so
Yeah.
as a licensed agent, I'm held to a higher standard. So what I would normally do is I would call them from the potential of not as an investor or not as a real estate agent, but as an investor, disclose that I'm a real estate agent, right? And again, like, unless they've been living under a rock for the last 2 years, pretty much every seller should know that the market's crazy right now, and it's a seller's market, right? The benefit is, I mean, they're selling to iBuyers. Why wouldn't they sell to me?
Yeah.
The difference is iBuyers are willing to pay more.
Yeah. Because I think most of your flippers today are coming in to renovate and then, update the property and then flip out, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if you bought in December, what were you, $345? And you were to hold that home, get it all renovated.
Yeah.
That home would have closed for $400, right?
don't
Didn't
know,
you
I
guys
stopped
say
listening.
average
Say
was
it
like
again.
$400? You have got to start paying attention. This is not a monologue. Right. So if you had bought a home when average sales price was $345 coming into the new year,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And then last month you guys said it was $400. You guys crossed over the 400 mark, or we crossed over the 400 mark.
Yep.
So if I'd bought a home at $345, would that mean then that home could have appreciated
Yeah.
up to $400,000?
Yeah. Do you remember
So-
that house that I was going to buy a year
Yeah.
ago? It was $895.
Yeah, that's $1 million.
It's $1.2 million right now is what it's listed for.
So-
And it's in escrow. And I'm killing myself for listening to you.
But that's my point, though, right? Is that even if you had done nothing other than change the locks, you still would have made some money. So maybe some flippers are having a hard time because they have a certain ROI that they need to get. But us mom and pops can get in there and get $10,000 and be like, yeah,
that's
payday.
True. That's true.
But I do agree that inventory just in general is lower.
Yeah.
Not gone.
Yeah, no, it is definitely lower.
But if there are any sellers out there that would like to sell their house,
Pretty
we
please.
do know some people who would like
Yeah.
to flip a home.
Yeah.
Investors, sorry.
Me, one of 'em.
Investors.
Me being one of them, I would love one. So either an investment property or even like to hold. I don't mind holding property. So that's what I was. Even when Casey was on here, I was talking to him about that, and I'm like, one of the things there's obviously the two platforms that you can utilize here when you purchase property is as an investor is that you can hold it, and then your initial like what you're willing to pay, right? Acquisition fee is going to be a lot higher than if I'm looking to flip it, right? Which would be the second option. And if I flip it, that acquisition number is going to be a little bit lower because it's going to require me to put some more money in. But there are sellers out there that just don't want to deal with showing the property. They don't want to deal with having to make repairs. They don't want to have to deal with any of that, and they're willing to do it. There's also, I've always recommended to agents that, hey, if you have an opportunity, go ahead and help clients get, some of their repairs done in order to get it listed and then get reimbursed for those items.
Oh, so in that situation, the realtor actually does gets the repairs done through their, it's almost like their marketing efforts basically, and then gets repaid or gets paid for it as part of the proceeds from the seller.
And usually that's the contractor that ends up paying for it, right? Or the contractor that initiates that, and then they submit an invoice. And in this marketplace, like what contractor wouldn't want to do that? They'd be willing to wait 30 or 45 days to get money if they know that it's
happening so
guaranteed.
fast.
Because the market's moving pretty quickly.
So you mentioned hold versus flip. Like, what would make you make that decision?
If there's so I looked at a property. I put an offer in last week. Right. I looked at an offer at a property last week, and it just made so much more sense because I looked at what the rental market was like for that area. I knew sort of the potential of that property, where it was located and all of that. And so I put in an offer based on the fact that I was going to hold it as an investment and rent it out. It wasn't in bad shape. I mean, I could have probably flipped it, but I wouldn't have been able to get it for as little as I wanted in order to flip it, because the work that it needed was flooring and countertops and paint and baseboards, and then and what's the most expensive, believe it or not, is staircases, like the actual railings for staircases. Have you ever done that? Mm-mm. Like those alone can be like 20 to 30 grand, sometimes 40. Yeah. Just depending on what you want to do. Well, no, the staircase itself would stay unless you plan on doing like a, what are they called?
The wrought iron? Or the stainless? Or the steel?
Floating, unless you're doing like floating staircases, that's like 75 grand. But who wants to do that in a flip, right? That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Unless you've got a multi-million-dollar house or a mega mansion, right? In which case that might actually work. But for like even to do the railings, that could cost anywhere from $17,000 to $40,000, just depending on what all you want done. The staircase itself, putting in the carpet, and then if you want wood on the sides versus just carpet all the way up, if you want wood all the way up, all of that.
Well, so in that case, because your return wouldn't have been made on a quick flip, you would have held it out. What would have been your end game
I don't know.
that?
Who knows what the market's going to do in a year?
Yeah.
It might have worked out, but that's not an easy flip. That's an investment at that point because it's a 1-year thing.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people back in the days when we did have much lower prices, and they were picking up these homes for cash and renting them, and that's their residual income today, right? That's pretty much what they're living off of.
Yeah.
So I was just curious what would make you make that decision between one versus the other.
I really want a property to flip. Everything that I'm coming across is not a flippable property. Flippable, yeah. And the reason is because the sellers are aware that the market is a seller's market, and they want what they can get for the home, and they don't, and they're willing to go through the headache of getting that extra amount. But for some sellers, this marketplace has offered them an opportunity to get money that they would have never seen in their entire lives.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple of people that are actually buying and selling because they moved into a home with full intent to live in it. Yeah. Moved into a home and they're like, I can literally make $80,000 on this. Yeah. Yes, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So because they're not attached, right? There's no attachment really. They've only been in it for like 6-7 months or whatever. And they're seeing that they've had such great appreciation, and they're coming out of it with $80,000, putting 5% down on the next one.
Girl, I have a client that bought a $1.2 million home. They closed on it yesterday and looked at comps, 3 million right now is what they can sell it for with all the upgrades that they put into it. And I sent them a message and I was like, seriously, how much do you love this house? Right. And they're like, oh, you know, the guy responded to me and was like, she would kill me. Like my wife would kill me. And I was like, I mean, would $1 million help her not kill you? Like, seriously?
Build your own.
Like, how crazy? Like, they're
How
selling.
did that happen, though?
It just happened. So what the problem is that because we have shortage of inventory, not just in our resale market, we have it in our new home market. It's a brand new home.
Oh.
And it was a Toll Brothers, and Toll Brothers they're building. Like when they say, if you go into contract today, you're looking at potentially 12 to 14 months. Well, they've ridden out that 12 to 14 months and their home's ready to go. And if somebody needs to move in and they want a Toll Brothers and they're willing to pay the money, like they'll pay that extra dollar amount. And I was just like, seriously, like I'm getting on the horn with the wife. I'm like, how much do you really love this house? Like, is $1 million going to help you, you know, go get something else or go figure, like we can buy an apartment building for you. We can't, but we can help you. I mean, we could, but we can help you with getting some like residual income with this money.
I think that's the part that some people are not really, I mean, there's one aspect of like owning your own home, right? And you're living in it and you're raising your family. But then I've seen, like, you know, to your point, people are building wealth in this short-term period because they are using it as a mechanism for business, right? And for financial opportunities, which is really what real estate is all about. But it's happening so fast. It can happen so fast for some people. So
I know. You know, like I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like,
I know. I'm just going to go to all the builders right now and go get some standing inventory, put them under my name, and then flip them.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Brothers. It's not even possible. But no,
nobody has a standing inventory.
That's not. Oh, you're gonna go buy some standing inventory right now?
Yeah,
it's impossible to find standing inventory. Do you know how long the wait lists are right now? It's ridiculous. So Taylor Morrison also has started building homes. Now at that point, over in Summerlin, they have these next gen homes that are really cute. They're single story, and then there's the next gen version in the front, right? And I was really considering that, and I was like, this would be super cute, you know, and blah blah blah. So I went to go look at it. And then when I originally looked at it, this by the way, show should be about regrets that Vandana has had. But when I looked at that property for seriously, like when I went to go look at that property almost 1.5 years ago, they were selling them. You could make the updates. It was like $700,000. Now they're just handing you whatever they put together. They're like, here's the project, here's the home, here's the upgrades. You take it, you leave it. And we're going to charge you almost 900 and something thousand for that same house. And I'm like,
yeah, but again, if you're not in there to live in it,
it's all timing.
If you're not going to live in it and you have a purpose of really,
I would have lived. I mean, I would have lived in that house. It's beautiful. Yeah, that next gen, it's gorgeous.
So, do you think
my only concern was the pool?
That you didn't have one?
Yeah, there was no pool. Well, new homes don't come with a pool. I could build a home, but then I have to deal with the contractor again.
I can get you a better contractor.
Regrets that Vandana's had. Let's just talk about
that. But
I
think that's the part, right? You know that you could get into something and you could, whether you love it or not, you can make you can make a really good investment out of it.
Yeah.
So next time that comes around, across your or next time you're showing a house and you think it's a good idea to like hook up one of your lender friends and let me know so I can go in a contract on a house to flip for $2 million.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell me about that. I mean, who?
Not that I could afford
knew
it, but
this was going to happen. Like everybody felt like, and the COVID and the marketplace, we've got all these eviction moratoriums. People can't afford their mortgages. I mean, how long is this going to last? Everybody was freaked out that there was like the floor was going to come out from underneath them.
The iBuyers themselves, right? When we first went into pandemic,
they stopped.
They got out of contracts.
I know.
Right? And now
they're regretting it, aren't they?
Exactly.
Regrets that iBuyers have. We're just going to call it the regrets show. All about
so negative.
Regrets.
I don't like that.
Okay. All
negative
right.
connotation.
Whatever.
I like it. I'm on your side better. Just kidding.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah, that's it. Talk about rates.
Rates today?
I mean, believe it or not, I've got to go soon. So
whatever.
Remember, I've got kiddos I got to pick up.
You have kiddos. Yeah. So mortgage rates jumped up a little bit this week by like 1/8, but really nothing to be super crazy about. So we're still in the 3% range.
It's ridiculous. I'm not buying anymore.
I know. I know. You should. You should. Go into that Toll Brothers home.
Yeah.
Toll Brothers home.
God, I wish.
Yeah, we're still, our government loans are below 3, and then our conventional loans are at 3. Jumbo financing also, I just locked some jumbo investor, no mortgage insurance, 10% down at 3.375.
Wow.
That's
low.
freaking amazing.
For jumbo?
Jumbo, no mortgage insurance, 10% down.
Holy moly.
I know. So that Toll Brother homes
So no
could be
mortgage
yours.
insurance means 20% down.
10% down with
just said
no mortgage insurance.
How is that possible?
So the rate's a little bit higher to cover the mortgage insurance.
Could they do a 2.275 and not
2.75?
whatever.
Yeah.
2.75 and put the 20% down, or is
Yeah,
it only okay?
you could.
All right, so that's an option.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can.
But why
finagle
would
this.
you with that much I mean, here's something else I've had a conversation with my clients about. So they're like, do I put 20% down, 25% down? It changes the payment by $90. The money right now at 2.99%. She's like, well, what would you do with it? I'm like, well, you got some student loans that are probably like 10, 20% down or 20% interest. Maybe you use that additional 5% to pay those off, right?
You're
And
so
then,
smart.
I know, like building wealth.
Guess what?
In real, yes, that is
Shelley's
my
on
goal.
your side.
But I think some people just don't see that, as an option. I'm like, first of all, your mortgage interest is
Because
tax
who wants to
deductible.
pay back their student loans? Let's be real.
Is that
here.
what it is?
Nobody wants to pay them back. They're hoping they just go away.
Do we
like,
really
over
feel like they're
time.
gonna go away?
No, I was
Okay.
hoping.
I mean,
I wasn't talking about myself. I'm sorry. I was talking about everybody else. It's
being
this
recorded.
Isn't about me.
regrets that Vanna has. Is it going to school or having student loans that you have regrets?
Oh, I don't have regrets about going to school. I'm smart because of school.
Yeah, we do call you the hammer.
Yeah.
But we would have called you that with or without the education. Maybe.
Probably not. I
Maybe
wouldn't
not.
have been as hammerish,
No.
I think, without the education. The education helps hammer time.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either.
Okay. So rate. Sorry, you were saying what?
Rates are still doing really well right now. That's actually helped with the affordability factor, right? In all of the things that we've been seeing with all of our clients today versus what it was before.
Nice. All right.
What about Kevin Costner? Your boy's coming into town to sing. Are you going to watch him this weekend?
Oh, P.S. Forget Kevin Costner. Guess what?
P.S.
I went and saw Joe Coy last weekend.
Oh, yes. How was he?
Oh, my God. He's incredible.
Was it a different show?
Absolutely incredible. It's called, what do you mean? Was it
Oh,
incredible?
have you not seen him before?
I watched him on Netflix because
Okay.
he has a whole thing. But just to, like, the guy just is
Hilarious.
He's hilarious, number one.
Yeah.
His jokes are not dirty. Like, I mean, he's got some.
They're relevant
They're relevant to
Filipinos
today, but they're also they're just. I feel like he's cleanish in comparison. I mean, I took my
you brought
kids.
your boys, yeah.
Yeah, I took my boys with me, and they laughed the entire time. There were a couple times where they so the seats that we got, there were two. They were two here, and then one right behind. It was actually one behind
So
and to the
who
right.
sat-
So they sat together, and then the neighbors that I had, I was like, hey, do you guys mind if we all move over so that I can sit behind my kids? And they were like, sure, no problem. And everybody, but I will tell you, it was crazy. Like, I was sitting in the theater like this the entire time. It was packed. There was not a single seat in the freaking house. It was packed.
Did you
Packed.
the demographic?
There were a lot of Asians. There were a lot of white people.
But let's break that bubble down. Is it Asian Filipino, Asian Vietnamese,
don't-
Asian? Yeah. Yeah, you could tell by the response. I mean, did they talk about
everybody
the
laughed.
big?
Let's just say it was funny.
No,
It
there's
was
some
funny. It was
specific
amazing.
Filipino stuff.
How did their laugh sound? So there's this one joke that he made.
That's true.
There was this one joke that he
I'm not
made. It was about this Urban Dictionary. So do you remember during our ARIA days, we had somebody in our board that every time we went for a meeting, we would go have happy hour afterwards, and he would bring up an Urban Dictionary word, and it was like for you, it was like utter shock because you don't do Urban Dictionary.
Texas. I don't do dictionaries.
So, or definitely not Urban Dictionaries.
Definitely not.
There was this one word he told us all about that starts with a B.
And I thought it was like stuff you put on your sushi or your rice.
So,
But it is for a
so
cocky.
he,
Furikake is what you put on your rice.
yes, but that was not the word. And so
Oh, how does everybody know about it all of a sudden?
So anyways, so Joe Coy makes a joke about that. And he's like, all these aunties are going to leave from here and they're going to be like, what was that? He was really funny, but what was that thing that he said with that word? Boo, whatever. And I shit you not. The boys and I walk out the door. We're behind a bunch of people and these aunties,
No
right?
way.
They were like, so what was that word he was talking about?
Was it the word?
It was the word, and then they said it, and my boys could not, they were
They
just
knew
sitting
what
in a
it
corner.
is?
Yes, but they
Vaughn
were
and Abala.
dying. No, it's not because of me. It's because they have phones, and they have internet, and they have access, and their friends are crazy. But they have, they have access to stuff like that. And so
That's hilarious.
I was dying. It was so funny. It was so because they were like, "What was that word he was saying?"
That was
And then
me.
they were like, "Which one? The boo blah." Blah. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
You don't want to say it
actually
on
happened.
air?
No.
We can't say it on Exposed?
I mean, I
Why?
guess I say shit. I guess
I
I could
know.
say.
Why are you looking at me? I'm not saying it.
So why would you make me say it?
My mom listens to this show.
Yeah, I know. Mine does too.
It's for
All right,
cocky
so
with the
with
B.
that, I
that's funny.
think we need to be done.
Cut off.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Clint Holmes?
No, Clint Holmes, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
No,
Whatever.
he's way too old. I don't think, not old. Sorry, I didn't mean that, Kevin Costner.
Yeah, because he's watching our
He
show.
might be. But he is coming to Las Vegas. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't even know he's not an actor now. He has his own band.
Yeah. It's like all these people are becoming
Band?
no, like
artists?
Shaq. You were saying, yeah, artists.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he
But they're
was a
coming to
DJ.
Vegas. Isn't that kind of cool? Like they're making residency here. Would you go
awesome.
see him?
No, I don't even know who he
Kevin
is.
Costner?
Clint Holmes. Let me see. Is
Oh
that
my
him?
Lord. Yeah.
Why does he have so much hair on his face?
Where is he?
On your screen.
No, this is the Hawaii eviction moratorium.
Oh. So let's talk about.
We're rolling down.
Hey, Shelly, I just
yeah.
want you to know I'm on your side. And
I'm
with
on
that, you
your
guys do not
side.
forget to like, subscribe, and push the notification buttons to make sure that you stay up to date with all the shit we talk about.
Yeah, because it's good shit.
Yeah. I love that you can't even say it. Bye.
Bye.